up too.
Oh, Eric.
Yeah.
Okay, so hope everybody had a nice Shabbos.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh,
Nun Aleph, Amid Aleph. Tomorrow I think we'll learn 9 o'clock. I haven't seen anything.
Okay.
Let me just make sure.
9 o'clock in the morning, you mean?
Ernie, you're looking a little upset that you don't have a procedure, looks to me.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, so tomorrow 9 o'clock in the morning. Nun Aleph, Masechta Shabbos 51. So we're dealing with the halachos of Hatmana. Lo kisahu mibod yom. If you did not put, let's say you had a pot that you put into you were matmin, lo yichasenu mishetech shach. If you hadn't put a cover on it, you can't do it anymore on Shabbos. However, if you had covered it, kisahu, v'niz galan, and it became uncovered, muter l'chasos. You're allowed to cover it again, even on Shabbos. And mamalis akiton, that means if you have some kind of container of hot water that you had been matmin from Erev Shabbos and still there on Shabbos, you can fill it up with cold water. The note of the tachzakar says so that it wouldn't. Here you're actually trying to keep it cold. Rashi says, "Mamala akiton shel tzoneh." You want to put cold water, so that it should not get heated up by the heat in the summer. So you can put it in, you have a bunch of pillows. You put the cold water amongst pillows, and you can even fill it up. You can even add to that on Shabbos. You're allowed to do hatmana of cold water. There's not some kind of comparison to that you can't do hatmana for something hot. For cold, it's completely permitted. We're not goizer hatmana for heat to hatmana for cold. No, cold is mutter. What kind of chiddush? Tanina. We have our Mishnah, and it's referring to cold water. So you have a first take of Mishnah. Why do you have to give me an Amaraic statement? But I'm Ravina Amar Shmuel. Tell me the same thing. We have a big chiddush. The even masnisen. If I'd have only had our Mishnah, for example, maybe I would have only been able to put cold water in things that you normally are not allowed to be matmin in. But maybe the stuff that adds, things that you normally use for hatmana, you wouldn't allow. That you're allowed even for that. Now Rav Huna's quoted Rebbe to say that you cannot insulate coal. Vatanya Rebbe hit the first take of Bryce the opposite. One of his halachas was before he heard the halacha that was quoted in the name of Shmuel, the son of Rabbi Yossi, and one was after he had heard the halacha. What's this? Rebbe taught the halacha that you cannot insulate coal. Arm of the fun of Shmuel, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Shmuel, who was the son of Rabbi Yossi. One of the rabbis of Rebbe was Rabbi Yossi. He's one of the links in the chain of Talmud Torah Sheba'al Peh that Rebbe received from. And he said, Rabbi Yossi, my father, permitted to do hatmana with coal. So Rabbi said, okay, once, if Rabbi Yossi paskin, I am a vatal, my das, to the das of Rabbi Yossi. Because of the covenant seers. Look how much they loved each other. When Rabbi Yossi was alive, he sat, even though he was older or whatever, he sat in front of Rabbi because Rabbi was the Nasi. And Rabbi Shmuel, the son of Rabbi Yossi, who was the Mamali Mokam, also Kafu V'Yosh of Rabbi. And even so, Rabbi deferred to the elder statesman. Rav Nachman said to his servant Doru, Atmin li tsoinen, insulate for me cold, and Aisli Maya, bring me water, the Achem Kfela Armoa. Bring me water that a Goyish, a non-Jew chef cooked. Shama Rebbe Ami v'ikbid. So Rav Ami said, what's going on here? What about Bishul Noch, Bishul Akum? Rav Yosef, my Tama Ikbid, Kirav Vusa of it. He's following his rebellion. Who is that? Chada Kirav, Chada Kishmuel. Kishmuel, so first of all, he held like his Rabbi Shmuel, because Rav Nachman studied under Shmuel. And Shmuel, we already quoted the halacha that you were allowed to insulate coal. And he held like Rav, Damar Rav, Shmuel, Rav Yitzchak, Omer Rav. Kol shu nechot kamoshu chai, any item that can be eaten raw, so ein bo mishum bishul enochrim. So for example, carrots. We can eat raw carrots. So if a non-Jew cooks carrots, there's no bishul akum on that. So water is also can be drunk without cooking it. So if a non-Jew heated up hot water, it's not a problem with bishul akum. So why was Ravami makpid? Who suffered Adam Choshev shiny that by an Adam Choshev he has to be machmir himself by these things? But we paskin like the Shulchan Aruch paskins like the Shita that anything that can be cooked, anything that can be eaten raw, there's no din of bishul akum if a non-Jew cooks it. Very, very practical halacha that comes into play all the time. One of the leniencies regarding, when you get a cup of coffee somewhere, if the hot water is cooked by a non-Jew, well, why isn't it a problem? Because of this Gemara, because heating up water is not a problem. It's not Tanarabah. That means even though we say you cannot, when we talked about the laws of Atmana, we said you have to do it at Erev Shabbos. And even Erev Shabbos, you're only allowed to do it in material that will not add heat. And then there's a halacha that once Shabbos starts, you're not allowed to do Hatmana once Shabbos starts, even in something that does not add heat. But if you had put it there Erev Shabbos, in Bala Hoshiv Mosif, you're allowed to add to a pot that you did Atmana to on Shabbos. Reb Shimon Gamil Oimer, Noitel. Now, Keitzaruosa, how do you do it? Origin Gamliel, Noitel Sadinin, Umaniachas a Glufkarin. You remove the sheets, for example, that was covering the pot, and you can add, let's say, thicker covers. So you can change the material that are surrounding the pot. Oh, no, or for other reasons, you could remove the thick ones and put the thinner ones. That's what we're talking about moisif. Moisif regarding adding material to the hatmanas material. You're not allowed to be matman on Shabbos in a kli rishon. That means the kli that was heated on the fire directly. That you can't be matman on Shabbos. But mimecham lemecham mutter. But for example, a kli sheni you can put. For example, if you had hot water in the kli rishon and you poured it into another kli, that second kli you could do atmana even on Shabbos. Mutter. Hashtag kuri komaker law. Because you see, why did he dump the hot food into a kli sheni? Because he knows a kli sheni doesn't hold its heat. So we see where he's not concerned somehow that this thing gets very hot. What's the whole problem with hatmana? Because you're worried they're going to cook it more. Here, he's already shown us that he's not interested in that. So therefore, you don't have to worry anymore about hatmana. So that's the din. Mutar litmon af b'Shabbos b'kli shlon is bashvul momamish kli sheni. That means on Shabbos itself, you could be matmin from a kli sheni. Now, Toman l'kisa b'davar nitul b'Shabbos. Let's say the hatmana was done and covered with something that was not muktzah. Oh, Toman b'davar sheina nitul b'Shabbos. Or let's say they did bury it in something that was muktzah, but the kisa b'davar nitul b'Shabbos, but the cover was done with something that is not muktzah. Hareza noitel umachzir. You can take the pot and put it back in there. Toman v'kitzu b'davar sheina nitul b'Shabbos. But if it was buried and covered in something that was not touchable on Shabbos, or the covering is something mutzvah, so it's only maya megula mikzaso notel maser. If you can touch the pot because it is megula, it is free and clear. There's nothing that's mutzvah on top of it, and you can get to it. You can take it and put it back. The imlav, if you can't, eno notel maser. You cannot do it. Yehuda Omer, in our mission, the Orishal Pishtan Daka, we said the thin flax pieces are like zevel, which adds heat, and therefore you can't be toimen in such an item. He also said menichem mechem agabi mechem, ukdera agabi kdera. You can put, a pot on top of another pot, or a dish on top of another pot, because the bottom pot is not going to be able to, cause the upper part to cook. That's the whole concept of klisheni. Can't put a dish on some kind of heating thing, because that could add heat. You can close up the seal of a pot with some dough, as long as your kavanah is not that it should stay hot. You want to protect it, that it shouldn't get cold, but not that it should get heated up. And just like on Shabbos, you can't put something hot into atmana. So he argued with Rebbe and said you couldn't put, let's say you had cold water and you want to put it in a bunch of material, shmatis, you're not allowed to do that. Rebbe Hitzer Latmina such, like we learned tonight, Rebbe permitted to insulate cold. But you're not allowed to take snow or ice and sort of break them up, like with a comb, or break them, because you've created something new, water from snow. Rashi says, Mishun de kamoilid b'Shabbos, v'dami l'melacha, sheborei hamayim ha'elu. In the sense that it's a new state, water in a solid state as ice or snow, and you've changed its state to a liquid state, the Chazal saw that as moilid. However, you could drop a piece of ice in a cup and it melts on its own. As long as you didn't do something biyadayim, then it's permitted. We don't make a gzeira that maybe we shouldn't be allowed to do that because you're going to come to pound it. No, that's allowed. And that's the halacha. That it doesn't add heat. And you cannot sort of break up snow or ice, but you can put it by themselves into a cup, and if they melt on its own, it's not a problem. Okay, new perek. Perek Chamishi, Bameh Behema, Nun Aleph Amid Beis, Mishnah. Bameh Behema Yotza, Bameh Ina Yotza. So Rashi says, person is commanded that his animal should not work. Something that is used to be shomer the animal, havi tachshit, but that's normal. And that's not considered a special burden. So something that you need to be shomer the animal, that's not considered a special burden for the animal, and he's allowed to go out on Shabbos with it. Umidi delomen teribei, something that you would not use to guard the animal, but to keep him shomor, that's a mosui. And you have him going out that way is usher because you are commanded in Shvisas Behemto. You have to allow your animals to rest as well. So it says, Yotzei hagamel ba'afser v'hanoka b'chatem v'luvdokim. We don't know what those are. The Gemara these are various like nose rings and things that were used to drag the animal around. The Gemara will explain all this. The luvdachim b'prumbia. The luvdachim were like, I think, Libyan chamors. We're gonna see it's like Libyan donkeys. Visus basher. A horse could go out with like something around their neck, like a yoke. Any animal that wears something around its neck like a yoke, they could go out with that, as well as they could, with a rope connected to it. The Mishnah adds a tangent halacha that if these things become tomei, you can put the whole animal into the mikveh, or they could go into the river. It's a natural mikveh, and you don't have to take the thing off of it. It can become, as long, I guess it can't be too tightly on it, otherwise it would be a chatzitza. But you could be toivel the animal with the thing itself, and the item becomes tohor. My naka b'chatam. What is this naka b'chatam? Amra b'chona natzla chivri b'zmam de parzua. With some kind of hole in the camel's nose.
Iron nose ring.
Yeah, and it was some kind of it was some, and that's how they would tie a rope to it and drag it around. The luv de kimba prumbi amra v'na chamar luba b'pagi de parzla. These are these Libyan donkeys. It was also some kind of metal metal implement.
Iron bit.
It says also would put it in its nose. Saru Shadru Le Shari. Lememar de Nigri de Chamer Shari. They would also send barley with it. And it would be a simon that the barley was good barley. Because just like the Libyan donkeys are the best kind of donkeys, they were trying to praise the quality of the barley as well. What if you moved it around? Like you moved this, normally the thing that you put on a camel, you put on a donkey, or vice versa. Nakaba afsar loti boilach. To switch an afsar, the nakaf with an afsar is no shayla kibbutz lo mintri bei masul. That would not be used to watch the animal, so it would be considered a burden. Kiti boilach gamul b'chatam. What about you give a nose ring to a camel? Kiva the sagile be afsar. Maybe you don't need the nose ring because if you did that other thing, it would be enough. So we treat it like a masul. Oy dilma. But it's an extra shmira. Maybe as long as it's a shmira, even though it's excess shmira that you don't need, it's not considered a masri. It's not considered a burden. There are 4 kinds of animals that go out with an afsar. Asusfa, parrot, v'agamal, v'chamor. The mu'ute mai, what does it come to exclude? Lav l'mu'ute gamal b'chatam, to say that a gamal does not go out with a chatam. Lo l'mu'ute nakab afsar. No, it's not it could be the khatam would be okay. It's just the nakabaf, so it would not work for the kamal. The masnisa tona luvdikim v'gamal yoitzin ba'afsar. That the camel and the donkey go out with an afsar. So you see a camel does have an afsar. Kitanoi, but machlok is tanoi. Ein chaya yotze b'sugar. An animal does not go out with a sugar. And any other thing that is used to watch the animal. Now, b'maya skina, what are we talking? Ilam b'chay gedola, we have a big animal. Sugar is not going to be enough. Ela b'chay katan, it's got to be a small animal. Milo sagile sugar. So a sugar would be okay. So what's enough kamina? Elav chatul, it could be now. It's a cat. And what's the machlokes? Tanakama Sarvakivan to Sagile. Since it's enough to miss the ba'alma, just like I guess with a leash, so this extra thing you put in it must use considered a burden. The Chananyas are called tirusa yatar. We don't care, even if it's as long as it's a shomer, even if it's an extra shomer that the animal doesn't need. Lo amrinan masuyu. We don't call it a burden. So machlokes tanoim whether an extra burden would be an extra shmira is considered a burden for that animal. Allah is like Chananya that an extra shmira is not considered a burden. Levi bered Ravuna Barchia v'Rabbi Ravuna Habi Kaziburcha. They were traveling. Kadmei Chamra de Levi leChamra de Rabbi Ravuna. The donkey of Levi went in front of the donkey of Rabbi Ravuna. Cholosh daiti de Rabbi Ravuna, but Rabbi got insulted. Omar Emale Milsa Ki Heichidi Tutiv Daita. So say something to me that I'm going to get calmed down, and that my kavanah was not to embarrass him. And he's going to give him halacha. We'll learn that tomorrow.
All right. Shkoyach.
Okay.
Tomorrow, 9 a.m.
9 o'clock.
9 a.m.
Good luck, everybody.
Shavua